The enemy is only 50 yards away from us. We are heavily outnumbered. We are under devastating fire. I shall not withdraw an inch, but will fight to the last man and the last round. This was the last relayed message of our Braveheart to his commanding officer. Major Somnath Sharma had voluntarily enrolled for Kashmir operations, even when he had one of his hands fractured and his seniors were reluctant to move him to the forward post in such health condition. On 3rd November 1947, Major Somnath Sharma's company was ordered on a fighting patrol to Badgam in the Kashmir Valley. He reached his objective at first light on 3rd November and took up a position south of Badgam at 1100 hours. The enemy, estimated at about 500, attacked his company position from three sides. The company began to sustain heavy casualties. Fully realizing the gravity of the situation and the direct threat that would result to both the aerodrome and Srinagar, Major Somnath Sharma urged his company to fight the enemy tenaciously. With extreme bravery, he kept rushing across the open ground to his sections, exposing himself to heavy and accurate fire to urge them to hold on. Keeping his nerve, he skillfully directed the fire of his section into the ever advancing enemy. He repeatedly exposed himself to the full fury of the enemy fire and laid out cloth strips to guide our aircrafts on their targets in full view of the enemy. A mortar shell landed right in the middle of the ammunition, resulting in explosion that killed him. His inspiring example resulted in the enemy being delayed for 6 hours, thus gaining time for our reinforcements to get into the position, and the tide of enemy's advance was slow. His leadership, gallantry, and tenacious defense were such that his men were inspired to fight the enemy by 7:1 for 6 hours after this gallant officer had been killed. He has set an example of courage and qualities seldom equally in the history of Indian Army. By the time the reinforcements reached, the position held by Sharma's company had been overrun. However, the 200 casualties suffered by the tribal infiltrators caused them to lose the impetus to advance. This bought the time for Indian forces to flight into Srinagar airfield and block all routes of ingress to Srinagar itself. During the battle, along with Sharma, one junior commissioned officer and 20 other ranks of D Company were killed in action. Sharma's body was recovered 3 days later. Major Sharma's father was himself an army officer, and he was an inspiration for his brother, who became General of Indian Army in later